What's good, everybody? It's John. I'll come back at you on another video. So this video, I've titled this video "Wisdom Exists Everywhere," and this video is actually inspired by a trip that I went on this past weekend with my family. So, titled this video of "Wisdom Exists Everywhere." I titled it this because this is in fact true. This is true because you can learn lessons about life everywhere you go, and you've probably heard the saying, "When the student is ready, the teacher will appear." It's the same idea there, right? That as long as you continue improving and growing, right, you will obviously be a lot wiser. And as you navigate through life from time to time, there are going to be moments where you might hear quotes or you might hear sayings or you may uncover truths to life, even in moments where you least expect it. And this is one of these examples, right? So, like I mentioned, this video was inspired by a trip that I went on this past weekend with my family, and we went to a Hindu temple in New Jersey. So for anyone interested, you can go to even like Google Maps or on Google and search BAPS. So BAPS, right? So B as in berry, A as in apple, P as in Peter, and S as in Susan. You search that and you're going to find that acronym BAPS, that acronym is basically, I guess, the organization that oversees all of like the Hindu temples, at least here in the United States. And the one we went to is the largest temple in New Jersey. So it starts with the letter A. It's a longer name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I don't actually know the pronunciation for it. But we went to that temple in New Jersey, and honestly, it was humongous. It was a massive temple, almost looked like you were walking into a castle. And the reason why my family wanted to go is because they seen TikToks about it, of course, right? So they seen TikToks, and it just looked like such a grand experience. Now, of course, we are not of the Hindu faith. However, the temple is, of course, open to anyone who's interested in learning more about the faith or even experiencing what it is like. So, highly recommend anyone who's interested to go check it out. Or there might even be videos on YouTube about it. So, during this trip here, you basically go into through the entrance, right? You have like these major statues out in front, major buildings, right? You go in through, and then as you're walking through, basically you can do a sort of tour through the inside of the temple. And the temple itself is made up of marble, so it is just absolutely insane. It took them about 10 years of renovation, and all of the inside was made of marble. And as far as I'm concerned, all of the marble was basically hand crafted, like it was done by hand. And just the level of detail is absolutely insane. Like I can only imagine how much time it took to make all of that, right? It took 10 years to like build and assemble the temples, but I can imagine how much more time it took to like make all the marble on the inside, right? Because all of it was just designed like absolutely beautifully, right? While inside, we did a tour, and we were there for about like between an hour to 2 hours. So that's around like the time frame that it'll take to go through. But while we're going through the temple, right, we finish the tour of the temple, and then we make it to the outside of the temple. And I noticed engraved on the wall from the outside of the temple were quotes from different important historical figures, right? You had quotes from Martin Luther King, you had quotes from Albert Einstein, you had quotes from Abraham Lincoln, and then you also had quotes from other Hindu spiritual leaders. And one quote in particular that I took a photo is from one of the Hindu spiritual leaders, and the quote is as follows: "In the joy of others lies our own. In the progress of others rests our own. In the good of others abides our own. Know this to be the key to peace and happiness." So I went through and I was taking photos of all of the different, quotes. And this one was one of the quotes, of course, I took a photo of. But this one was the one that I highlighted. And like I saved it on my phone, like I hearted it, because this one was the one that stood out most to me. And we'll go through this line by line so I can help explain what this piece of wisdom means, right? Because I immediately recognized it the second I seen it, right? It says, "In the joy of others lies our own." So what they're saying is, in the joy of others and the happiness of other people is where our happiness lies. And you know that to be true because if, let's just say, you're ever working with other people, if you're helping someone, or in any way, shape, or form assisting someone, and you're able to have them walk away happy, or if you're able to do a good deed for someone, do someone a favor or help them during a time of need, right? Like, and you see them happy, of course you feel good yourself because you've done something good for other people. Seeing other people happy makes it easier for you to be happy, right? And in this, right, it says, in the joy of others lies our own. This is also true too, because I've seen videos online, and you've probably seen as well. There's videos online of like someone who's on the train, who's taking public transportation, right? He's on the train, and this person is laughing out loud hysterically. Now, of course, that normally doesn't happen on the train, but this man was just laughing so hard, and his laughter spread to other people, right? Like, that laughter effectively was contagious, and other commuters that were on the train also began laughing because they were laughing at his laugh, and his laugh was super contagious. That happens, right? So this is true right here. In the joy of others lies our own. We also enjoy seeing other people happy because that makes us happy and that makes us feel good. The next line, in the progress of others rests our own, because it takes a certain level of growth and maturity, right, to want to help other people improve, grow, get better, and ultimately win. So as you're helping other people, you're also helping yourself, because that requires more out of you. See, it's easy to be selfish. It's easy to just not care about anybody else. But you also need to remember that you live in a planet where you're coexisting with other people, with other human beings, right? You're not alone on this planet. And there's always going to be people who have questions, who need answers, who need guidance, all these things. And if you're able to help someone improve and get better, right, then that's also effectively pushing you forward too, because that's another person that ends up being in your corner, right? And they can very well return the favor at some point in the future, right? The next line, in the good of others abides our own. Same idea here, right? If you do good for other people, then that also ends up being good for you, because you feel good for the fact that you've done good for other people and that you've done good for the world. You're seeing how it's almost, let me read last sentence, right? Last sentence says, know this to be the key to peace and happiness. Why? Notice how the common denominator for pretty much this entire quote right here, it's effectively saying, it's effectively highlighting karma, right? That is basically saying that karma is a real thing. That you do good by other people, and the good will have to make its way to you. Now, the one thing you need to remember about karma is this, right? You can do good for someone, but that good doesn't necessarily have to make its way back, to you by the person you did good for, right? Like, it doesn't have to be transactional. Like, if I do a favor for someone, it doesn't have to be that person that I did a favor for that has to return the favor back and do something good for me. Somehow, some way, something good is going to make its way back to me in, any way, shape, or form in the future by anyone, right? So this is why you want to do good at all times. Let me give you an example. And this is an example of something that I saw like in my neighborhood, right? Of like, now I don't know what happened after this event, but I'm just gonna explain to you guys an example of how karma can work in a situation like this, right? So I noticed in my neighborhood, that there was flyers of a barber. I don't know who this barber is, but basically there's a barber that's hosting sort of like a back to school social event where there's going to be food, drinks. It's for the kids, right? To bring out the kids so that they can have like, sort of like a barbecue, sort of like a bash of, fun, like food, drinks, like activities. And this barber is here giving out free haircuts. And, I'm sure a lot of students, a lot of kids will appreciate getting a free haircut, because a lot of times some kids, don't receive allowance so that they can't go and pay for haircuts themselves, or maybe they're in a financial situation, like their family's in a financial situation where like that is an expense that they can't afford, and so maybe that kid doesn't get haircuts frequently or even at all. And so, of course, usually when you're a kid and you get a haircut, right, then you feel much better about yourself. It helps you as far as your self-esteem and your confidence and everything. And so doing something like that, right, that's the barber is clearly making a difference in the community. And it's because they're giving out free haircuts to the kids, right? It's unlikely that the kids will probably return the favor to the barber. However, karma works in mysterious ways, right? It can be possible that because that barber is giving out free haircuts to the kids, that the barber ends up making a name for himself, or like, gets some recognition from the community. And then the entire community decides, you know what, we're going to begin getting haircuts from your barbershop because we want to support you because of all the good things that you're doing for our community, right? That can very well happen, right? So giving out free haircuts and doing this event for kids, it may not necessarily be that the kids will return the favor to the barber because the kids, they probably don't have money. They probably, the kids, but it can be the parents of these children that decide, you know what, I usually get my haircuts from this barber over there, but because you're doing such nice things for the children of the people in the community, I'm gonna start going to you, or let me get to know you, and let me begin supporting your businesses. Let me, right? Like, that can very well happen. Or it can be possible that there might be someone, in the day and age we live now, there could be someone recording the whole event, and then it may end up going viral on like TikTok or something. And then the barber could end up receiving, being put on like the local news channel of like doing this good deed in the community that they're part of. And that can end up allowing them to create a name for themselves. Like this is how it all works. You don't know how it's all going to happen or how it's all going to line up, but that is what karma is, right? Karma is effectively what goes around, what comes around, what you reap is what you sow. So if you're doing positive things, good things for other people, good deeds for other people, somehow, some way, the good will eventually make its way back to you. And the same idea, not only does karma work with positive things, it also works with negative things. So this is why, right? You want to be careful about the negative things that you do to people or negative things that you say to people, right? Like, you want to operate with positive energy at all times, right? So if you notice, like the quote that I shared with you guys, right? It's pretty much highlighting karma. The other component that is highlighting is service. It is basically highlighting or saying, right, that you want to be of service to other people. Some folks, unfortunately, live their life, only worrying about themselves or thinking about themselves, or, right? If you want to truly get ahead of life, you need to be service oriented. You need to be service focused. You need to be doing things for other people. Let me give you guys an example, right? If we look at money, right? Money, right? This piece of paper right here, this represents value. This represents internal value, right? What I spend my money on, on the things that I value, on the things that are important to me. And that's the same for you. You, if you have this, right, paper money, you end up spending money on the things that you value. For example, if I am someone who values my health and eating healthy, it is unlikely that I'm going to spend my money on fast food because I don't value that. That's not important to me. Whereas someone who loves fast food and isn't health conscious about eating healthy, right, they're perfectly content spending their money on fast food, right? Because that is what they like. That's what they value. So money is always going to represent value. And the only way for you to earn money is by delivering some sort of service, some sort of product, something to another human being, to another person, right? Delivering service to others. There's no way for you to earn money by servicing yourself. Now, I know there's probably some people that think, oh, well, there's some CEOs that pay themselves. But what you remember is that their company, their business, whatever business they're in, doesn't matter what business they're in or what industry it is, doesn't matter. Their business is earning money by servicing other people, and they just happen to pay themselves. I'm talking about like if you yourself are by yourself in an empty room or something, right? You can't earn money by serving yourself, by helping yourself, right? So only way for you to obtain or earn money is by servicing other people, by helping other people. So this quote right here is basically highlighting the importance of serving others. And that is how people truly get ahead in life, by servicing, by helping other people, by being of service to other people. That is how you obtain more of this, right? By becoming service oriented, by helping other people solve their problems. Everyone has problems in the world. Everyone has problems. And the majority of people, which you need to know, the majority of people are problem oriented. They experience a problem and they focus all their attention on the problem rather than thinking about what is the solution for this situation right here, right? So because most people are just problem oriented and taught and conditioned to just focus on the problem, then if you're someone who's solution oriented, life becomes a lot easier for you, because then you're able to create solutions for the majority of people. Since the majority of people are problem oriented, they're not thinking about the solution. If you focus on the solution more of the time, then that's how you help more people, right? Providing value to people is either solving their problems, providing them with happiness, or improving the quality of their life, which ultimately delivers them happiness, right? So people are effectively chasing happiness, right? And they're able to experience the happiness if they're able to be served and able to be served effectively, right? So this is why this is all tied together. So this is, I hope you're seeing how this is all coming together based on this one quote that I came across, right? This is what I mean when I say wisdom exists everywhere. Because even though, like, this quote, you don't have to be of any religious faith. You don't have to be of Hindu faith. You don't have to be of any faith. You could even be atheist. But what you can't deny is the wisdom in this quote here, because this quote is effectively delivering you words to live by. It is telling you exactly how you should be living your life. And that is being of service to other people, because as you become of service to other people, you not only are doing good in the world, you're also creating the world how you want it to be, right? Because you're helping other people, you're making other people smile, you're helping other people grow and improve, right? You're making a difference in the lives of other people. So you're effectively leaving your fingerprints in the world, and that will make you happy, knowing that you're making a difference, right? That you're allowing other people to grow and to win, right? You begin feeling good about yourself, and because of that, this by effect will have to follow. Why? Because this is not a cause, right? Money is not a cause. Money is an effect. The cause is you providing value. It's like, if you continue providing value to other people, if you continue being service oriented, then by default, this, right, money will have to make its way to you, because that is the effect. Because all this represents is value, and this wealth, right, it goes where it is invited and stays where it's welcomed. So if you continue to serve other people and provide value to other people, people will appreciate that. People want to surround themselves with you. People want to hire you or provide you with opportunities, or, right, like, this will begin flowing to you automatically as long as you continue serving other people. And then that's when you'll find true happiness, because then you're actually doing something that you enjoy. You're feeling as though you've always been important, you've always been worthy, you've always been deserving of it all. But you will, if you haven't, right, you begin to feel more worthy and deserving, and because you understand that you're making a difference in the lives of other people, and other people appreciate what you do, and other people will need your services and will need you and what you're good at, right? So you'll feel appreciated knowing that, wow, like I'm really needed here, like I'm really doing good in the world. And you will also begin to be proud of the person that you've grown into and the person that you've become, right? You'll begin caring less about this, because you understand that, like, if you continue serving other people, that this will have to flow by default. So it becomes less important. Like, if you keep going, this will eventually it'll be no different than just breathing. It's like, okay, I expect it to make its way into my life, because I'm doing what's good for the world. I'm pushing good. I'm creating joy for other people. I'm creating good for other people. I'm creating growth and helping people progress. So by default, material wealth has to flow to me. But I don't really care about that, because it's the effect. It will flow by default. I just want to focus on what I do good, what I enjoy, and that's serving other people. So this is exactly what I mean when I say wisdom exists everywhere. And oftentimes they exist when you least expect it, because I'm, simply visiting the temple with my family, because I just want to go for the experience and see, because I've never seen it before. So I wanted to see it and just be in awe with how grand it is. And I definitely was. But then seeing those quotes on the wall, I had to take a photo, and then when this quote appeared, I stopped and I just began smiling, because everything this quote says is effectively what I'm doing right now with these videos with you guys, right? I'm showcasing to you the truth about the world, like how you should be living and how you should be operating, right? To be successful in life, you want to find something that you're good at, either your gift, right? Something that makes you happy, something that you're passionate about, something that you're obsessed about, that you just love it so much that you think about it all the time, right? You want to find like one of those things, your hobby, your passion, your gift, whatever, and go all in on that and pursue that, because as you continue doing that, right, you end up becoming better and better until you are one of the best. And then once you're one of the best at what you do, that's when you become irreplaceable. You become valuable in the eyes of other people, because they can't find someone like you. They can't replace you. And then there's going to be people, whatever it is that you're interested in, there's guaranteed going to be other people that also share that same interest, right? So that is how it all works. That's why musicians, right? The musicians who are like at the top of the top, these are people who've written music and made music their whole lives, right? Entrepreneurs, these are people who've started businesses and run businesses and done that their whole lives, right? It's the same as athletes. These are professionals who've played the sport their whole life, right? Like this is how it all works. So when I say wisdom exists everywhere, they'll exist even during the times where you least expect it. Because I was not, of course, I'm in a religious place, but I'm not really familiar with the scripture. I'm not really familiar with too much of it. But this right here was the wisdom that I was able to take away from it. And regardless of what you believe in, regardless of the faith that you follow or lack thereof, right? If you're atheist, right? This right here is the truth, and it can't be denied, right? Because all businesses are in the business of serving others. No business can succeed by just serving itself. It won't be a business then. The only way a business survives and thrives is by being in service of others, by serving other people. And that's how you need to be operating. That's the mentality that you need to, live your life with and approach life with. And eventually, right, of course, material wealth will begin flowing to you as you operate with that, but then you become less interested in that, because you become more proud of the person that you've grown into, the person that you've become, that allowed you to create all this material wealth in the first place. So that is the beauty of it all, right? Of understanding that is the key to peace and happiness, right there, being of service to others and serving others the way you see fit, the way you want to do it, right? Because that is what will bring you internal happiness and peace. And remember, of course, once again, wisdom exists everywhere. So you just want to continue growing and investing in yourself so that you can develop the awareness to see the wisdom when it appears, right? The saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear. The same concept right here, right? When you're ready, you'll be able to pick up the wisdom. It won't just, go right over your head or through one ear and out the other, right? You'll be able to see, recognize it, and say, okay, here's another sign, another clue that I am in fact on the right track. And all you got to do is just keep moving forward, right? So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to 1 million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.